Hello and welcome to my channel inchbyinchart. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made a Pseudodragon mini for our homebrew D&D game. One of the other players has a Pseudodragon familiar and she told me that it is purple with rainbows and it was open for interpretation. So I'm starting out with using some Super Sculpey. I'm using my fingers to just shape the body, tail, and legs, and then my silicone-tipped sculpting tools for all the fine details and pressing the separate pieces of clay together. Here you can see his little body, got all his little legs, and now I'm going to make the wings. I decided to just make them from Super Sculpey and not give them any sort of armature. This is mostly because it was so small that I found it much easier to just do freeform with my hands and tools rather than have an armature. I just rolled a little piece of Sculpey flat and then cut it with my metal sculpting tool. And here I'm adding a wire. This isn't really an armature, it's more of a way to be able to secure and stab the wing into the body. I could have just pressed the clay on, but this seemed like a more stable, reliable way to attach the wings. Just adding on a bit of a neck. And here I'm sculpting the head. The head had a lot of really fine details and was, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of the whole thing, so I tried to give the most attention to this part of the sculpture. I used my metal dotting tool to press in the eyes and my silicone-tipped sculpting tools to do all the rest. I wanted the upper and lower jaws to have good definition, so I pressed in the lower jaw more with the sculpting tool. And then I used liquid Sculpey to adhere the head to the neck and blend the neck clay into the head. And as usual with me lately, I don't know what's going on, but I keep burning my pieces. I'm just, need to pay closer attention when I've got stuff in there. So here I have mixed Super Sculpey with liquid Sculpey, which is a technique I've done several times before in other pieces, and I'm using it in this way so that I don't have to put liquid Sculpey all over the piece and then try to stick on the Super Sculpey. This mixture instead just makes a very tacky Super Sculpey that's very malleable and easy to push around with the sculpting tools, so I've been testing it out. So far I quite like it, and I've used it on a couple different pieces, so I think I'm going to keep using it, and it seems to adhere just as well as using only liquid Sculpey. The other problem is with liquid Sculpey, it gets more translucent, and I found that paint doesn't stick to it very well. Here you can see I've made a bunch of little cones and I'm adding spikes all over down the tail and have added a whole bunch on the head as well as horns. Now that all those extra details are done, I can get ready to put it on its base. These are the dowel slices that I make. I've used them in several different videos. I just took a dowel and cut it into little slices. It's a 1-inch dowel, so it always fits my maps. And I've baked it again. This time, thankfully, did not burn it. So because she said it's rainbow and purple, I went with a rainbow color shift paint. It's a folk art brand, and this is Plum Flash. I decided that it would really just be this color, except for its eyes, and then I would add extra glittery accents on it because it's a pseudo-dragon, it's very magic, and it's familiar for a wizard, so I felt like super glittery and flashy was cool. I went with blue eyes because the character is blue, and I thought that would be kind of a good shout out to the character. And here I'm just putting a little white dot on the eyes to give them a little bit more of a pop. Now that it's all painted, I'm just going to do a black wash to make all the details come out. This is just very watered down black acrylic. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with the base, so I figured I would just use the rest of my black wash on the base and see how it looked. I ended up liking it, but I needed to go back and do another coat of paint. And here is some mica powder. So I decided to use this for boosting the rainbow effect. It's hard to tell in the camera, but it does look very rainbow iridescent. So I put it on the throat and chest and then all over the wings because I didn't want to just put it all over the entire thing. I still wanted it to have some of just the straight purple flash color. And because of the way I'm applying this and the fact that mica powder just goes everywhere, I decided that I would put it on the base as well, and then I locked it all in with Mod Podge so that it wouldn't rub off and get everywhere. And here it is done. I had to put it out in the sunlight so you could see how glittery it is. It looks way better in person, honestly, but you can see it's super flash. Well, that's it from me. If you like this and you want to see more of me making my art, please like, follow, and subscribe.